Okay, guys, let's go through a little bit of a review over standard form. Remember when we talked about standard form in class? Our standard form looks like this. AX plus BY equals C. Remember, A, B, and C have to be whole numbers. A has to be positive. And the other piece that's really different with this is that on this, X and Y are on the same side, which is a different experience for us based on what we've talked about before. So let's take a look at this first one. When we look at the first one, X and Y are on the same side, but usually this X value goes out in front. So if I go to set this up, negative 8X is going to go in front. I assume that's positive 14Y, so I'm going to write plus 14Y equals 15. So as far as form, that looks a little better. X is first, Y is second. The other issue that we have to deal with is that right here, that number cannot be negative. So we have to get the negative off. Now we talked about in class that to get the negative off, I would divide each number by -1. Now by doing that, basically what it does is it changes the sign of each of those numbers. So negative 8X becomes positive 8. Plus 14Y becomes minus 14Y. And positive 15 becomes negative 15. So that's going to be your final standard form setup. Okay, let's look at the next one. So in the next one, we start out with X and Y not even on the same side. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this 15 and move it on the other side with the Y. So if it's negative 15X, I'm going to add 15X to both sides. So these cancel and I'm left with 11. On this other side over here, remember I have to do 15X first because the X value has to come first. I assume that 12Y is positive, so it's going to be plus 12Y. And that is my final standard form. Now, our last one is dealing with those fractions that we were dealing with today. So remember, we can't have fractions or decimals. So to get rid of the fraction, we have to focus on this bottom number, which is 7. So to get rid of it, I'm going to take this whole equation and multiply it by 7. So 7 times Y equals 7 times 6 over 7X plus 7 times 3. Now the whole reason that we're doing that is because these 7s will cancel and we'll get rid of the fraction. So you're left with 6X there. 7 times 3 here is going to be 21. And I'm just going to bring the 7Y down. So as far as a decimal or a fraction part being in there, that's gone. Now we need to work on getting our X on this side. So I assume this is positive 6X. So I'm going to subtract 6X from both sides. So I'm left with 21 here. And on the other side over here, I'm going to put that X first. So negative 6X. And I'm assuming this is positive 7Y. So I'm going to do plus 7Y. Now, as far as standard form, we're better off. X and Y are on the same side. X is first. Our only issue now is that I can't have this negative here. So remember, to get rid of the negative, we're going to divide every single thing by -1. So that's going to make it 6X minus 7Y equals -21. Okay, you have some other examples.